in a realm where the sun fades behind the fight. Every scar is a story, every tear is a flame. In this game of survival, nothing stays the same. We break, we fall, but we rise again. Through shattered hopes and the cries of men. Through the darkness, through the pain, we'll build again. We'll stand through the rain. The trials may come, but I won't bow. This is my fight and I'll make it somehow. The road is long, the nights are cold, but the dreams I carry burn like gold. In the chaos, I found my place, a spark of hope in the empty space. We've lost so much, we've given more, but through the trials we'll restore. Through the darkness, through the pain, we'll build again. We'll stand through the rain. The trials may come, but I won't bow. This is my fight and I'll make it somehow. Every fall, we learn to stand. Through the darkness, through the pain, we'll build again. We'll stand through the rain. The trials may come, but I won't bow. This is my fight and I'll make it somehow. Make it somehow. Make it somehow.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Pax Dei. Emphyr Search for Steel. Tonight, we are gathering resources. As one would do, I had been remiss today. I needed to go do some things. And then I had a nice ruin raid, I guess you would call it. Me and some friends attacked some ruins in another map, so it was kind of fun. We had some party strategies I'll share later. We also have a little bit more food, wine, and alchemy strategies as well. But tonight I'd like to go over some leadership lessons inspired by philosophy and real-world examples. And I would like to go over strategies for mastering MMO economies. We use economies loosely, but yeah, I think you'll start to form a different opinion, especially on economies such as a free market economy in Pax Dei. But we'll set that up. There's a lot to talk about there, and exploring creative ideas for dream MMO features. One of my favorite topics we bring back every once in a while. But I have been busy today architecting. I had one of my favorite kids. My daughter was helping me architect today, so As you can see, my home off in the distance has a partial roof, not a complete roof, but a partial roof now. I just need more clay, some more shingles, and we'll start to complete that. But so far, so good. It looks pretty good. Got a lot of different unique features, and the house itself, I'm using. There's three types of roofing. Of course, you got your thatched roofing, and then you got your shingled roofing, and you have. I gotta think about the other one. I know you have those two. What a day! Been a long day. How is everybody out there? Oh, forgot to input my saying. All right, so we'll put in the chat what makes a great leader in MMOs or real life, and then drop your thoughts in the chat. And here we go. There we go. Start it off. Let's talk about leadership in MMOs in real life. We talked a lot about this last night, but I think it really. We'll spend about 15 minutes on it. I think it lends itself to need more. I mean, for example, let's start from the aspect. And I almost forgot to test my audio because last time it sounded great, but it wasn't so great. Okay. That test is complete. All right, let's see. So we look at MMOs. Where are we really looking for our leadership? Well, individuals have leadership, sure. We also look at clan leaders, right? And even in real life, leadership comes from the most unexpected places, right? Which is not bad. It's unexpected is not a bad name. It just it prompts us to think or observe where we might not see leadership. We should recognize it, right? So it's everywhere. So what are good things that a guild leader must do? Well, they have to balance strategy, they have to be fair, and they have to encourage teamwork. The biggest three, I think, for a guild leader are those. Really? I thought I got all these. Obviously not. Okay. I'm gonna have to go get some more firewood. All right. Well, how would this manifest in Pax Dei? Well, effective leaders need to plan the raids. They need to resolve disputes and encourage teamwork. That's your example. So strategy, fairness, and motivation. The motivation, though, I do want to point out, a lot of MMOs, especially Pax Dei, you are driven by your own motivation. A guild leader or a friend isn't going to ask you to play the game and then motivate you to excel at the game. And that's not this type of game anyway, to be honest. This game, you can do whatever you want, whenever you want to do it, and progress however fast you want to progress. Nobody's keeping timers. There's no goals. Like a the scorecard. There's no scorecards. We just have fun. You have fun with your friends, and one of the things that I've noticed in Pax Dei is, given the markets, and we can talk about this later, but given the markets and your clan, even beginning characters can have a good time going into low to mid-level ruins or dungeons or caves, because you can go as a party, which is a force multiplier, and then you have the ability to get weapons you can always use, but you can't use them proficiently, meaning your level might be low, but you can use a high-grade weapon or a magic weapon. So that's all balanced for the game. and it keeps everybody interested, even from the first day somebody starts, for 20 years. Let's see. Well, let's go into the real world. Leaders, in an MMO need to do particular things because it's a at will. I shouldn't use that because that's a business term. It's a choice. I want to be here. But organizations are a little bit different. Sometimes we don't have the option of being there, right? We have to be. And that's to make money, to have a job, etc., etc. One of the biggest, well, let's just go into it. You need to foster trust. You need to delegate effectively, and you need to inspire others. It's not enough to motivate, but you need to inspire. Inspiration is more difficult when you're not where you want to be. Where some people enjoy doing their jobs. I haven't met anybody that wants to have a job so bad that they love it. That is their day. They go into it and just crushed it. There we go. So I don't want to. I want to be in the center of the bell curve, not on the extremes. Right? Some people hate jobs. Some people love jobs. But it's up to the leader to inspire that middle section, right, on the bell curve. Communications, leadership qualities, right? Key leadership qualities, communications. I'm going to say it again because I can't say it enough. Clear and concise instructions builds trust, right? That's in the MMO and in the real life. If you cannot, as a leader, be clear and concise in your direction, people will get frustrated if they don't deliver what they thought or what you thought you communicated they delivered there. It'll frustrate you, and if you're the leader, and it'll frustrate the person you're delegating the task to. So keep that in mind as we're going through life, and I will remind everybody, because I periodically I will look at other or former earlier podcasts. We've talked about leaders need not only to communicate, but not only to motivate, but to have a vision for everybody, right? So let's see, adaptability is a big one for leaders, right? Leaders adjust strategies based on team dynamics. If I have a team that has excellent, engineering skills, I'm not going to use them for marketing. They can learn marketing, but I'm not going to use them for marketing. I'll probably hire somebody if I need somebody to do the marketing stuff. I haven't pulled out this two-handed sword. Wow. Yeah, I love my two-handed sword. I so need to refocus my efforts on weaponsmithing. Let's see. Vision. Inspiring a shared goal for both guilds and organizations, right? Vision is definitely in the list. How would you feel with, do you need to know the vision, or do you need to know just the component area? Compartmentalization. I don't need to know the big picture, just give me what I need to do and I'll do it. So, to review, key leadership qualities: communication, adaptability, and vision. So, we did talk about clan structures in organizations. let me just briefly review that from last night. So a small clan, we'll call it 8 members, and in the chat, if you want, let me know what you think a small and a large clan are. I just used a random number, honestly. 8 seems bigger than the squad, so it seems to need a little bit more, leadership than a pack of friends, right? You can have friends that are 6, that are about 6 friends, but when you get to 8 friends, it becomes a different story. All right, so small clan, we want a flat structure where everyone has a voice. In real life, you're looking at agile teams, if you know the agile system of project management. We also have, in a small clan, you have flexibility, quick decision making. There's a lot going on, but you can make things happen very quickly. The challenge is the leader must multi-role responsibilities. So in smaller clans, more people have to have multiple professions in order for the clan to ultimately succeed without having to go out to the other clans. But that's a possibility. Remember, diplomatic relations is part of the game, and at least on my server, everybody's great. Nobody seems to be cutthroat, especially with giving resources to anybody, new characters or even older characters. People are pretty gifting, say that. In a larger structure, though, you need a well-defined hierarchy. You need to define the guildmaster, the officers, and the members. Corporate structures are a perfect example of this out in the real world. The strengths of a larger corporation or a larger organization is that there is a clear accountability and specialization as well. If you have 20 and on up, you will have a group of blacksmithing professions. And some of those blacksmithing professions will have weaponsmithing, or armor smithing, that related or branched professions. Let's see. Okay. So if there are any questions on leadership, let me know, because it's big. It's such a big topic, and we're as a species, we're really lacking leadership. I don't know of any reason why we are, other than you just don't see it, or many people. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let's maybe I'll do a podcast just on the lack of leadership in the world. That might be a good topic. But before that topic, we can actually look to some of the ancient philosophers, right? Plato. In the Republic, he said, leaders should be wise, just, and prioritize collective good. To him, that was a leader. I did the wrong. That's okay. Confucius, on the other hand, well, not on the other hand. In addition, in Intellects, he said, leading by example and fostering harmony through moral integrity. And one of the podcasts, I need to do another podcast on morality, beliefs, and value systems, and why and how you should question it. The age of reason was upon us, and it left. I'd like to bring it back. All right. How would you apply such a device? Right. A philosophy, I should say. Well, a guild leader who resolves disputes calmly fosters loyalty and trust. Meaning, you're a third party. Um, you're on the. Let's use a triangle. There's the conflicting people on point A and point B, and then there's the point C person. When the point C person comes in, they are really in a dangerous position. And what I mean by dangerous is the two that are arguing could focus their attention on that now person C for no other reason than to remove their anger from the point they can't solve and try to solve another aspect of the or the new entry into the conversation, I should say. We'll go over conflict resolution a lot. I think let me detail a podcast for that, because that's so important in life, much less being a leader. Here. Once I'm done this, we can go out and actually adventure a little bit to get more stuff. Now, this is normal maintenance stuff. I'm not going to say it's exactly fun, but I do enjoy it every once in a while. It does have its perks, and it is oddly satisfying. At the end of the day, and you get something done, don't you feel a little bit satisfied? Even at home in the real room. Alright. Oop, I must forgot to do this. That's not where it is. I tell you one thing this game has taught me to get organized in my real life. Makes efficiencies. I ate the wrong one again. Let's drop that one down. Alright. Where was I? Oh, Ubuntu. The Ubuntu philosophy from Southern Africa. I love this philosophy, not only because it's an operating system, but it makes a lot of sense. And I mentioned it in other podcasts. Ubuntu is I am because we are. Leadership focuses on a collective success. In a clan, that's amazing, right? That's where you want collective successes. An individual's success within the clan becomes a clan success, especially if those in the clan help to provide material support or even encouragement for that person to achieve what they achieve. So that is a huge point to be made, and Ubuntu really sums it up perfectly. The application encouraged teamwork by celebrating group achievements over individual accolades. The philosophy kind of loses me there, because if the individual is achieving through the collective, as I said before, I think is still in the Ubuntu philosophy. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research myself and figure out if that's a true statement or if the philosophy is just socialism. Yeah, not exactly socialism, but I kid. All right, let's see. So the big topic tonight, or one of the bigger topic tonight, is the MMO economies. So what are strategies in MMOs, and what are their parallels in the real world? Here we'll have to understand a little bit more about resource and resource development. So I want to take this a little bit slower than I have been going so far. What we'll talk about is supply and demand, currency management, and trade and bartering. this will apply to the bigger world more than in an MMO, because an MMO can take into account everything. For example, respawning resources mean I have unlimited resources. In the real world, I do not have unlimited resources. I have a finite amount of resources. And there is the parallel of the difficulty of getting resources. So it's a difficult resource to get. That would apply a little bit to the supply and demand, right? Even if I can get it infinitely, if it's hard to get, it becomes quasi-finite. I'm gonna coin a new term. Currency management is sort of like avoiding inflation by balancing resource influx with meaningful sinks. The sinks meaning taxes, craft fees. In an MMO, you're theoretically not gonna have those fees. So how do we look at that in an MMO? Well, the big thing with monetary inflations, I don't believe we're going to have monetary inflation per se in an MMO. However, we will have resource inflation. Or, yeah, that might be a better way. If some clan decides that they're going to harvest one resource and one resource only, and they have that 24/7, that process moving 24/7, you will have the majority of the resources for that clan of that particular resource. In Pax Dei, you would either have to, as the individual being cut off from the resource by the clan because they're continually farming it, you'll have to either travel farther to get the resource where the clan isn't going, or you'll have to figure out a strategy to get to the resource as it's respawning, so the other clan doesn't have an opportunity to farm it before you get to it. Trade and bartering. So if we look at different ways we can really play in Pax Dei, we're looking at... Did you hear that tink? It's so pathetic. Yeah, I love my teammates. Wish I could make... Well, I could make the same one I just used, but I want the steel one. Anyway. So if you look at trade, you're going to trade between different clans, you're going to trade between different people, or different people and different clans. So there's really three varying a varying picture of participation. Do you build trade routes? Yeah, in a way you do, right? You might have in Pax Dei, you have to worry about how much can I carry, where can I carry it to. Some trade routes to other areas might be heavily laden by monsters or beasts. Not necessarily strong beasts, but they might have in the merchant's path, there might be need for a weapon in the inventory, unless you have clans that provide the merchant that's carrying all the stuff without any weapons or food the necessary items or the defense needed to go through some of the areas. The further or more restricted the area, the more you can charge for the items, right? The other aspect to this is trade routes are kind of... Well, it's interesting. So there's two ways right now in Pax Dei you can do a trade route in the real sense. One is to go to a clan's base of operations, place those goods in a open trunk, and then pay the agreed upon price that you negotiated up front. That takes a lot of... It's a high trust society, right? You have to be very aware that... I'm getting a lot of beyonds today. You gotta be very trusting of the person that you're doing business with. And with an open chest, let's say you put the gold in, let's say you put 100 gold in the chest, and the merchant takes a couple days to get there. Because it's an open chest, you have to worry about people walking by the chest, seeing if the chest is an open chest, and then taking the gold that just happens to be there. Again, high trust society, right? On the only other way you can do a trade is if another player decided to put a plot. You expend one of their plots, then create it as open. An open plot, meaning anybody can build in that plot, and anybody can place anything they want in that plot, like a market, right? So this is very important for a couple different reasons. I'm not sure. My theory on an open plot is if the person never comes back, and the devs are like, yeah, that plot hasn't been used in a long time, and then they just erase it. As with any MMO, we have to worry about the actual server resources and the amount of data that's being crunched if no one's using that resource. For example, the actual plot, right? So there's a couple pitfalls right now. And if you look, I had to build another market because there is actually a... Oh, here's 120 is the base for this. Somebody bought some stuff here not too long ago, which was cool. It was our first sale, so I was happy. He took all my bread. I'm so happy. All right, let's see. Well, let's talk about where I just showed you, because one of the things that I just showed you was a market. Well, if people do them on open plots, you can place your own market on the open plot and then stock it up to 120 items in the market. The market also costs gold, and it's a percentage of gold to what you want to charge. We don't know where that gold goes, so there's that. It's like a little hidden tax, I suppose. And leveraging alliance is fairly easy because you have to have trust with the alliance. And then we could go with a strategy of regional specialization. And what does that mean? That means we might be near a rare, valuable resource. And if we are, what does that mean for everybody else? Well, that means a bigger... Need some sand. So while I'm talking, I'll go get some sand. Alright. And I forgot for this. Awesome. I always get distracted by Pax Dei all the time. It's a thing. Let me think before I move on, because it was an important point I was making. Oh, about the taxation, right? Where does the money go? We don't know. You just need money. Well, what does that drive? Well, that drives you actually going out and killing the NPCs. The NPCs provide actual coin every time you kill them. The more difficult the area, the more rarer drops you get. The more gold you get, or the rarer drops you get. There are named creatures or named NPCs that provide magical drops or the ability to craft magical drops or magical items by the coin or some magical medallion that you can add to the recipe. How do you cost things out in an MMO? That's a good question, because you literally don't have a better business bureau. You don't get to talk to everybody in the valley and ask them what they're going to charge for, resin, we'll say, because I've seen resin up to 1,000 gold. It's a rare resource. It doesn't drop very well, but 50 for 1,000 seems a little bit absurd. But those are the types of things we're running into with the market system being as undefined and free market as it is. Not that it's impossible. That's definitely not what I'm saying. However, the differences in price are certainly going to be a couple different ways of thinking about this. How hard was it for me to get the resource? How high, or what type of knowledge, how high was the knowledge on the actual skill list? Those are definitely considerations in the pricing of the good. Other pricing considerations, it's not necessarily, as we were speaking before, a common resource might be easily obtainable, but it also might be hard to obtain because it's in a 3-skull or 4-skull area. Well, what do you do in those cases? Well, you just charge what you normally would charge, right? However, let me say it a different way and stop here. If you look at my inventory, I have a 1 pip farmhouse cider. To make this, fairly common ingredients. It's not too bad. So let's look at it real quick. So if we go over here to recipes and go farmhouse cider. There it is. We click on it. It needs blueberry syrup, water, and honey. Blueberry I can get from my home val. Water I can get from building a well, and honey I can get building from beehives. The amount of honey would be one of your points that you'll have to understand, right? If I have 5 beehives doing 4 honeys, I'm going to get 20 in a certain time. So I'll only be able to produce 20 blocks of 5. 20 blocks of 5 honey. So these are the calculations that you'll tend to do in Pax Dei, especially when you're looking at the economic aspect of this. On the farmhouse cider, I would look at it. Blueberries are hard to find, but once you map them, you can have a system where you can pretty much go. I was looking at that at farmhouse cider because of the knowledge level, the skilling that it took. Because it's level 7, it's not that high. I looked at it as, I think 30 is what I'm selling it for, or 30 or 40 gold. It's not much, but the benefits of the item also provide a view, or definitely need to be taken into account. Like farmhouse cider will give me some definite cool buffs. Health 16, stamina 46, lasts 15 minutes. As a matter of fact, we'll take some. The reason I bring this up is because no one prices on farmhouse cider the same. They won't. When the game proceeds and progresses, if enough people are looking at other people's markets, you might find a synchronicity of pricing. That'd be interesting to find out, actually. I'd really like to know. Maybe I'll write Pax Dei's company and ask them for data to see, kind of figure out how people are pricing things, and if over time those prices are aligning. That'd be kind of cool. Yes, I'm a nerd like that. Let's say, all right, so we're looking at trading and bartering. We're looking at currency management, supply and demand. Well, that's true in the real world, right? All those factors are true in the real world. So keep that in mind as we talk. You can apply some of these facts and factors to the real world. One of the things that I do like is the fact the free market is going to determine a lot of different stuff. Also, there's I call it the black market. Why do I call it the black market? Is because people just give stuff away. So if you want to sell something, you understand that some people just give it away. So you might not sell it in a timely manner, or there might be other factors, mitigating factors. The real world is not any different, really. If you look at command and control economies versus pseudo-free markets, and I consider the United States a pseudo-free market. Why do I say that? As a matter of fact, use blueberries. So I picked blueberries. Oh, I should. Darn it. I wasted. That's right. I'm looking for sand. Need sand. That's all I'm looking for. Sand. Anyway. The reason I say that on the U.S. economy is there's a lot of regulation, and regulation will disrupt a free market. So will taxes. So will tariffs. Anything applied to the market that other than the free trade of goods will be something other than a free trade market economy. And that's okay. Nobody's saying that you need to have a true free market. Even Adam Smith didn't believe in a true free market. One of the things you need for a true free market to thrive on, as well as any market really, is people with the same beliefs, morals, and values, and a high trust environment. Meaning, if there is a cure-all, cures everything, and they put it on the market for $10,000 a unit, people are going to be like, but it cures everything. In my mind, the morals and ethics of the person selling it might be a little off, right? Does it take that much money to create or make? If it does, I'm wholly for it. Why do I say that? Because you wouldn't be able to bring it to market if you couldn't recoup your costs. So I'm okay with things like that. What I'm saying is, if it cost me $2 and I charge $1,000, yeah, now I have a problem. Yeah. So, morals and ethics. Big deal. Beliefs in any market. Right now, for example, the United States has that limited free market, or modified or pseudo-free market. Why? Because of the regulations and the ability for people to lobby Congress to make laws to remove competition. the biggest companies will be able to, I'll just say, grease the wheels a little bit in order for them to outsell the little guy. And once the little guy's gone, then they can increase prices and people will not have options. One of the things I've always said in games, it would be nice, because this is a real life thing. It would be nice if the skills reflected, for example, I'm a blacksmith. I'm making a buckle. The durability of the buckle, depending on when I make it in my skill level progression, should be affected. For example, I make a belt buckle, and my skill is moderate at making belt buckles. That's at the 50% mark, right? Which the durability should be, I'm just making up numbers now. Durability should be 70% of optimal. What is optimal? If a master craftsman crafted that buckle, that's 100%. The way the dynamic game would work is after crafting the belt buckle, or the group of buckles, the durability would be less than other belt buckles. Therefore, you would have to replace it faster. That's the whole concept. In the real world, that's true too. Companies who spend money on engineering and materials, good materials, we'll say the spectrum materials, right? Poor, excellent, good, outstanding materials, whatever we want, whatever scale we want to use. Ultimately, if we can bring that into an MMO, it'd be ultra realistic on the market aspect. But the real world, that is a true statement as well. And what would you pay for a lesser item versus a higher item? Would you go back to the person that made the lesser item if they didn't tell you, charged you the higher price, and then you realize, man, these things aren't even lasting me that long. Why am I doing this, right? I only want sand. Somebody is going to come by here and go, wow, look at all this stuff. They are more than welcome to it. Because I don't need it yet. But since it's infinite resources, I can waste them. In the real world, I wouldn't be able to do that. I would find a way to come back and gather all the resources or plan to get the resources that I need, only the resources I need. Milton Friedman said, where in the world is there an economy not driven by greed? And at the time, it was the 1970s. He was talking to, I think, Phil Donahue. And Phil had, it was very, he was a very liberal individual, progressive individual. Let me say it that way. And he was like, well, greed, we got to get greed. And Friedman was very, very respectful, and he said, where in the world is the economy is not true? And it's a great question, because at the time, there were socialist countries. They can't be true. The Soviet Union, you had a disparity. There was a disparity between, or a desperate disparity. Anyway, there was a difference between those with and those without, right? So their economy, although to each according to their own, I don't know the socialist thing. I try not to, but my basic point is that was driven by greed as well as the free market in the United States, which Mr. Donahue was more trying to slight the free market economy of the United States at the time. And it wasn't. It was driven by greed, absolutely. So is everything else. In the MMO, not so much. Yes, there might be greedy people, and it's okay. Greed is not a four-letter word. I know it's five, but my point is, that when we look at economies, especially in Pax Dei, somebody might want to be the richest person here. And that's okay. How they go about it, how virtuously they go about it, is going to determine whether the gains are ill-gotten or morally right and acceptable. All right, let's see. Let's go a little bit further into marketing or mastering Pax Dei marketplaces. So, harvesting, selling high-demand goods. Figure out which resources are scarce, and then you can either sell the resource directly or find the recipe that incorporates that resource so you can capitalize on the rarity of that recipe and or that item. Build the trade alliances. Other guilds, partner with the guilds for mutual benefit, right? You don't want to exclude anybody because they might be in a position that or a location that's closer to you to certain resources. Therefore, they're saturated with those resources, and that's a good thing because you can, if you have a resource that they're far away from, then you can negotiate resource to resource. Combine resource gathering, crafting, and direct trade to maximize earnings. So basically what I'm trying to say is use the clan influence or the clans to find those markets for the resources. Trade with those clans, and maybe even negotiate a mutually exclusive clan. Resource from that clan. One of the things you will definitely be able to tell in Pax Dei is if somebody's trading that resource with another clan, because your amounts will go down ever so slightly. Now there could be several reasons for this, but as far as we're talking, this could be a directly related to a clan not honoring their negotiation for that resource, which could, interestingly enough, make the MMO a lot more fun. And then you'd have not clan wars, but clan dynamics. Clan wars, they haven't come up with a system that the clans could go to war in the home valley. I heard they're the same development group as the CCP that did EVE Online. I'm wondering if they'll bring in clan warfare, meaning if you're part of a clan, you can be what they call it in EVE Online is war decked. So even in high sec, you can be war decked and fired upon without the police getting involved. In Pax Dei, I'm wondering if they'll implement a similar system, since you just simply can't attack anybody for any reason in the home valley. Once clans go to war with each other, I wonder if that would be allowed at that point, right? Interesting concept. I wouldn't like it because in the EVE system, you're always vulnerable in your home system or in HiSec until the war is over, which means nobody really plays that is a farmer or a miner. And what I mean by farmer is planetary resourcing. I could see the same thing happening here, so I hope they don't do it in the home valley. But it would be the clans going to war would be an interesting aspect. I want that to happen, and clans would be those people who would want that to happen would probably be okay with it, but anybody else would just be like, yeah, I'm not joining the clan. That's basically what would happen, and that's fine. That would be, but I don't think that's the game we're trying to build. Love my sword. All right, let's see. Yeah, that anybody have their own theories on Pax Dei? I mean, it's early access, so nothing's really completed. So what I'm talking about right now is a snapshot within its creation. We don't know what's going to happen in 6 months, in 10 months. I didn't even think there was going to be markets in gold. I don't think the devs did either. They were like, what would you need gold? So does this introduce NPCs? Like villagers into the NPC world? Well, that brings us to the next conversation. And I'll put the tagline. This would be just amazing. If you could add one feature to Pax Dei, what would it be? And I would totally do AI villager system. Absolutely, 100%. It would be awesome. Have a villager system. They can't die in the home valley. Or can they? Meaning, would they have to worry about the animals? Like boars and the overgrown possums, otherwise known as badgers. Or badgers. But those are a couple different the MMO would just be amazing. It would be, I don't know if it would be that expensive, but they really have to update their server because it is slow some days. And they do have a max. And they do have a max population, which is fine. It's just resource capability until they get to a bigger game. Like, they're not a AAA title. They could be. If they get to a subscription model and they're reasonable on their subscriptions, I can definitely see more and more people playing, which would be greater resources, greater monetary resources to the company, which would mean that the company could provide better and better but like AI villagers. Come on, awesome. The second one probably would be VR. That'd be phenomenal. VR would be phenomenal. VR with AI would be, jeez, that'd just be like Sword Art Online, wouldn't it? I think what they are working on, though, some realistic things, is a weather system. Now, the weather system is going to just be, at first, raining, cloudy, snowy, really no effects on anything that I've heard. But wouldn't it be awesome if it had an impact on gameplay? Like, they're thinking about doing a farming aspect to the game, and it would be very cool if the weather affected the plants, the growth of the plants. It would be cool if it affected how characters fight. Is there a chance of slipping? Or in winter, is there a chance of a greater chance of slipping? Is visibility diminished? That would be cool. And they do that right now with the bogs, which is awesome, but maybe a really heavy downpour limits it even further. That'd be cool. I would love the weather systems to impact. Oh, what about resource availability? If you're gonna have it affect farming, perhaps you have it affecting resource availability. Maybe you put in volcanic lands the ability for the volcano to produce more or less ore, types of ore, different types of ore. I mean, in real life, I mean, weather affects farmers, and they adapt to the changing weather conditions, right? It'd be just a neat idea to add to Pax Dei, or really any game, impact of weather. I know some have tried, and they're not bad, but they're focused on one aspect of the weather. What else goes on? Player created and customizable player created events. It would be really cool, since we have different cloth or clothing styles, right? For example, we can tailor ourselves or go to a tailor to get a nice set of clothes and attend maybe a ball or a party at Commoner's Villa. That would just be cool. And then of course the people are providing the customizable event that is occurring. And I got like all kinds of meanies around me. I usually would take them, but look at the lag. A little too much lag. I probably have to go through these. It's fine. Like, or a town fair. Oh, or you know, those are the what happens in real life, right? Could you imagine like a corporate team building exercise? No, I don't like corporate team. I don't feel they do much of anything, honestly. You have a majority of people who don't want to be there. Yeah, I'm really sort of. You have a lot of people that don't want to be going to any function after work or during work. It's you have to get, as a leader, you have to get them excited about the event. My company does a lot of events. And a lot of people attend, and it's awesome. I hope they attend out of want. But when you're in a corporate environment, it's usually not. It's out of, if I'm not seen there, then I'm not considered a team player, etc. And that's just not a great thing. On an MMO, you join a clan, you're usually motivated to go actually plan events. But that would be a cool MMO, stylized MMO. Well, I don't know. Is there any MMOs out there that actually do it? Actually allow the players to create the event? I'm not sure. None come to mind. Even online, you can do events, but they're not like scheduled through the server or anything like that. I guess it would be the same for this game, really. Is it Throne and Liberty has in-game events by the game masters or the software itself. Let's go on to, yeah, I hit the NPC AI would just be absolutely insane. NPCs with personalities and evolving behaviors based on player interactions, where you can actually piss off a somebody to the point where either they won't do business with you, or they charge you more, or they don't want you around their family. That would be amazing. It'd be amazing. Little reputation system built into the village. Let's say you go around. Not in Pax Day, you couldn't do this, but maybe if you hurt an NPC. Now, well, the NPCs talk, so you now have a reputation among all the NPCs that, and you're a ruffian, you're a barbarian. That would be cool. I'm telling you, that would be just amazing. And we're on the precipice, my friends. We're on the precipice. I believe in a couple years we'll have AI games that will be able to integrate AI into those. Now, the other aspect to all these wants and needs and dreams is the balancing the innovation with the accessibility. You want to be able to create within the context of the game. Let's stay in the game. For new or casual players, you don't want them to be what's a good word? Put off. We'll just say put off by the new feature. So you yourself have to, as a game company, have to make sure the feature is accessible to everybody, but not required by everybody. That's a huge caveat there. What else is another caveat? On the outside of the game, let's just talk about the type of graphics card you need, the type of computer you need to run and operate for the new gaming feature. If you have your audience or your player base, and they all have, we'll just say 2060 graphics cards, and then your new feature will not have an option, although it will need a 3060. Well, you just lost half your audience, half your gaming base. So these are all things that you should consider when you're looking at these new features and the new in creating new features or actually creating a game in its entirety. All right. Let's see. So tonight we went over leadership lessons for both MMO and real life. We looked at strategies for mastering economies in Pax Dei, which mastering, I'm not going to say it's exactly what I went over, but I gave you enough information where if you want to attempt mastery, it's a good place to start. And if you learn anything, I'm more than welcome to, or you're more than welcome to comment to me, whether it's in an X post or in the chat. I love to learn about things I don't know anything about. For example, in this game, I refuse to go to the Pax Dei resources. I want to find stuff on my own. I find joy in finding out things that are not easily or may easily be figured out. For example, running the will-o-wisps. I found out through gameplay that will-o-wisps actually run from you. They're not a creature, even though they say they're at level 99. I always feared for with will-o-wisps, so I never went near them. But I found out through gameplay, and it was fun. It's a good role playing for Emphyr as well, considering Emphyr is a considering role playing is what my bread and butter is. And if somebody asks me a question, I don't have any meta knowledge. I don't look at websites, so I don't know if it exists. I can only tell you what I've found. And it was funny because a lot of people I encountered, I was like, will-o-wisps actually generate the Inquisitors. So don't hit them. They call Inquisitors. Which is totally not correct, but that's one of my encounters, it looked like it happened that way. So it kind of gave me an opportunity to see from the sidelines how we as humans may have cultivated monster stories. It's pretty cool. Let's see. I think next time, which is tomorrow, I will dive into storytelling in MMOs and how it shapes player engagement. So whether that's the company that's driving that, or individual players that's driving that, or clans that's driving the storytelling. But even yourself, right? A lot of people do fan fiction. Well, why do they do fan fiction? Well, they do fan fiction because they are looking to live. It's this one. They want to live or role play more than just the game, right? They want to create that environment where their world is. They just want to get immersed. We'll just say it in a shorthand. They want to be immersed in the world, and to do that, sometimes they will create fan fiction or art, and all of it's welcome. Like I create music for Pax Dei. The intro and the outro were both created for Pax Dei, and I also create different. Well, I create podcasts because of Pax Dei. Will I change it because of another game? I don't know. We're early access, so that's a tough question. I might pair it with another MMO RPG, but I'm not sure, honestly, because this one's so it's not complete yet, but it's so complex, and there's so much to do if you want to master everything. I want to master everything, so yeah. Let me think about that question. I'll think about that as new MMOs that are worth playing come out. I saw a couple in 2025 that I'm interested in reviewing, or actually going and seeing what they look like and how they play. There's a couple open ones that those are the ones I'm really interested in. Things like Pax Dei. I'm creating my own story with my friends. I honestly don't need a sub story based on the moderators or the devs. For that, I just hope they create a world where we can craft those stories. All right, let's see, where am I? Well, that's about it for tonight. Like I said, I didn't put a lot together for tonight, and I was mostly resource gathering, so forgive me. But in the chat, let me know what you want to hear, what you want to see, how you want to learn about different philosophies, how to craft reason, logic, so you can grow as a person, as an individual. With that, I'm gonna go out, and like I said, tomorrow 8 o'clock. Looks like we might be diving in a little storytelling and how it shapes player engagement. So a final thought. Leadership is about creating opportunities. Economies are about making connections. And games are about building worlds. What will you create next? Be safe, everybody. Be kind to everybody. And until tomorrow, bye.
With every step, a lesson learned. From fire's heat to the fields I've turned, the blade and bow, the forge and flame. I sharpen my skills, I play the game. Each day brings a challenge I must face. I train my hands with careful grace. From alchemy's art to the hunter's way, I'll find the strength to seize the day. I carve my path, I walk the line, in the shadow of the ancient sign. Through trial and toil I'll find my way, learning more with each passing day. The skill of survival, the will to thrive, in a world where the strong survive. I'll face the night, I'll take the chance. I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight. From the herbs I find to the iron I mold, each lesson learned is a story told. The stars above, they guide my hand. As I hone my craft, I take my stand. In the quiet woods, in the mountains chill, I push myself, I shape my will. With each new tool and every lore, I'm stronger now than I was before. I carve my path, I walk the line, in the shadow of the ancient sign. Through trial and toil I'll find my way, learning more with each passing day. The skill of survival, the will to thrive, in a world where the strong survive. I'll face the night, I'll take the chance. I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight. The road is long, but I won't turn back. The lessons I learned keep me on track. With each new skill, the stronger I grow. In the face of the storm, I let my courage show. I've tasted defeat, I felt the sting, but I rise again with each new spring. For knowledge is power, and wisdom the key. I'm forging my path, I'm breaking free. The skill of survival, the will to thrive, in a world where the strong survive. I'll face the night, I'll take the chance. I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight.